Good day once again. This is Basic Mathematics 3 and this is the continuation of your lesson in statistics. Today we will be discussing graphical representation of data, and that includes histogram and the stem and leaf plot. To start with, let's have histogram. A histogram is an approximate representation of the distribution of numerical or categorical data. In making a histogram, we must have a plane here with the x-axis as your category axis or your class interval, and then you have your y-axis or the value axis for your frequency. Now let's have some examples here. The first one, draw a histogram of the following data. So given the data here, you have class interval, which is given as 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, and then 20 to 25 with its corresponding frequencies here. Now, let's try to observe the class interval here. You have all the sides here is called your lower limit, and then to the right is your upper limit. Now look at the first class interval. The upper limit is 5, and then the second class interval, the lower limit is 5. If we are going to make a general statement for this, then we can say that the upper limit of the preceding class interval is equal to the lower limit of the preceding class interval. And this type of data is what we call an exclusive data or continuous data. Now, in making a histogram, our data must be continuous or exclusive. So it's easy for us to plot or to make a histogram for this data. Then let's move on. So you have here your x-axis, and that is for your class interval. And you will have your y-axis for your frequency. Then let's label your graph here. So you have, for class interval, you have 0 to 5, and then 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, and then 20 to 25. Then we will have your frequency. So it will not be very long here. We will just count by 4s. So you'll have, or the numbers that are divisible by 4. So let's have 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20. So this is ready for plotting now. Our first class interval, 0 to 5, has a frequency of 4. And then the next class interval has a frequency of 10, and then followed by 18, and then 8, and then 6. So we have completed our histogram now, and this is how it looks like. Another example. The daily wages of 50 workers in baht are given below. So you have here a frequency distribution table, the daily wages or your class interval, and then the frequency column. So for your class interval, you have 50 to 60. And then the second is 61 to 70. Try to observe each of the class intervals here. If you notice that the upper limit of the preceding class interval is not equal to the lower limit of the preceding class interval. So this data is what we call inclusive data. And before we can make a histogram, we have to convert this to an exclusive or a continuous data. How to do that? We get the difference of this. We get the difference of the upper limit of the first class interval or the preceding class interval, and then the lower limit of the preceding class interval, and that is equal to 1, divided by 2, so you have 0.5. That 0.5 will be subtracted from your lower limit. Okay, that will be subtracted from your lower limit, and then it will be added to your upper limit. So it looks like this then. So we subtract from 51, we subtract 0.5, that becomes 50.5. And then for your upper limit now, you will have to add 0.5, so you will have 60.5. And then you do that to the rest of the class intervals. Then we have here our data now is an exclusive or continuous data and ready to make a histogram. So let's have your x-axis, which is for your class interval, which is wages in baht, and then for your frequency, you have your y-axis there. And then let's label our graph here. So we use steel by fours. So you have 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20. And then for your class interval, we use the data, the continuous data, which is 50.5, then 60.5, 70.5, 80.5, 90.5, 100.5, and 110.5. Now, if you notice, we have a zigzag line here. This zigzag line is very important because this indicates that our data did not start from 0. So let's continue. We are now going to plot our frequency and for each class interval. So the first class interval is 50.5 to 60.5, and we have 4. And then followed by 12 for 60.5 to 70.5. And then followed by 8 for the next class interval. And then 16 for the 80.5 to 90.5, and then 4 for 90.5 to 100.5, and then the last one has 6. So this is now your histogram. Now let's have the stem and leaf plot. So what is a stem and leaf plot? It is a device for presenting quantitative data in a graphical format, similar to a histogram, to assist in visualizing the shape of a distribution. Now, in making a stem and leaf plot, we take into consideration the place value of a number. So we arrange the data in place value. Let's have some example. You have here example 1. Make a stem and leaf plot for the data below. So you have the given data: 16, 7, 38, 19, 11, 26, 2, 33, 27, 39, 2, 42, 15, 40, 25, and 36. And then, so what's the first thing that we're going to do? So the first thing is arrange the data in ascending order. You know what is ascending order, right? So we arrange that from the lowest to the highest observation. So our lowest observation is 2. You have here two twos. So you'll have 2, 2, 7, 11, 15, 16, 19, and so on to the final or the last observation, which is the highest, and that's 42. Then the next thing that you're going to do is create columns for each place value. Now, if we go back to our data, we'll check the place value. For 2, 2, and 7, the place value is only the units digit, and the rest, you have a 2-digit numbers here. So the place value that we have is only units digit and tens digit. So we'll make 2 columns then for that. You have units digit, and that is for your leaf, and then the tens digit is for your stem. That is why it's called stem and leaf plot. Now, after you made these columns here, then we can now tabulate your data. So how to tabulate? Given this data now, you will have to write it here in your columns. So you have 2, 2, 7, and it's only in the units digit, so that our tens digit for these 3 numbers here, or 3 observations here, will be 0. And then write 2 to the units digit, 2 and 7. So you'll have that. And then continue the process. So you'll have 11, 15, 16, and 19. The tens digit is 1. And so you will write the corresponding units digit. And then 25, 26, 27. So you'll have tens digit is 2. And then that should be follow there, okay? So I hope you understand where we get 5, 6, and 7. And that is from 25, 26, 27. And then you have 33, 36, 38, 39. So the tens digit is 3, so that's why we have 3 here. And then you just write the units digit of each numbers in this side here. And then continue that with 40 and 42, so you have 4, and that's 0 and 2. Now we have tabulated the data. Are we done with our stem and leaf plot? Not yet, because we need to have a key in reading these numbers here. So you have to make a key, and this key is very important because it helps us read the numbers, the data properly. So you will have to make a key. Since we have 2 columns here, then our key must have 2 columns as well. So you have here, say for example, 2 and 5. That is for your stem, and this is for your leaf. You can use any number here. It doesn't matter what number you use as long as it looks like this. It doesn't matter if you can see it here or not. It's okay. So this means that you have a number 25. Let's have another example. Make a stem and leaf plot for the following 2 lists of class sizes. So we have 2 sets of data, given. You have chemistry, and then you have your biology, all right? So if you try to observe each of the observation in each set of data, they are already arranged in ascending order. And if you look at each of the data here, you only have single digit, and then you have two digit, and the place values here is the tens place is 1 and 2 only. Same here with biology. So let's do our stem and leaf plot. So since we have two given sets of data, then we make our stem in the center. And then we'll have leaf, leaf, and then right leaf. So maybe we can put chemistry here, or we can put biology here. Then let's have this. So you have chemistry to your left and then biology to your right. And then, so I'll have here your data so that we will not be going back there. For chemistry, we have 9, 13, 14, 15, 16, 2 16s, and then, so in other words, our stem that we can use here is 0, 1, and 2. So let's write our stem here, 0, 1, and 2. And let's start with chemistry. So there is only one single digit observation for chemistry, so we write it there. And then you have for 1, tens digit equal to 1 is you have 3, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's why you have 2 6 here, because you have 2 16s, and then you have 7 and 9. Then you can go to the next tens digit, which is equal to 2. So you'll have 0, and then you have 1. So you have two ones because you have two 21s here. And then you have two 5s because you have two 25s. And then after you're done with chemistry, you go to biology now. With biology, there is no single data here, single digit data. So we move to tens digit, which is equal to 1. So you have 14, 16, 17, and 18. And we will write that aligned to 1 here. And then for a number or a data that has 2 in its tens digit, we will align it here. So you'll have 0, 0, 4, and 9, because you have two 20s, and then you have 24 and 29. Are we done here? Not yet, because we need to have a key in reading all this data here. And since we have 3 columns, our key will also have 3 columns. So you have here 3 numbers. The red one here means this is your stem. And just the same, it doesn't matter if the numbers that you have here is taken from here, or if you want to use any other numbers, that's okay. And this means that you have 26 and 20. So this is the end of our discussion. I want you to try to answer the exercises here. Exercise A, make a histogram to represent the data below. And then for exercise B, for exercise B, you have to make an ordered stem and leaf plot for the following data. Number 1, we have one set of data, and then number 2, you will be given 2 sets of data. So it's a double stem and leaf plot. This homework, this serves as your homework, and this will be written in your notebook and should be submitted to me by the time you come to school in July. Thank you very much for listening and watching this video. I hope you understand, and if you have any questions, you can ask me or my Thai partner.